Hey there, this is Pastor Pete with SimplySermons.com. I've got a very special video blog for you today. Coming to you from Texas. You can always check our church website out at cowboyfellowship.org. That's the church I preach at. For those of you around the world who may not know that, I do try to mention it from time to time. I want to talk to you today for just a second about God's faithfulness. You know, this ministry here alone is just a great representation of God's faithfulness. It's funny to me, or it's strange to me, how quickly we forget how faithful our God is. I had an opportunity, and in the next few months, probably by early fall, we're going to be making some major changes to SimplySermons.com. It's not anything that's going to blow your mind or be real earth-shattering, but there's going to be a lot of stuff changing behind the scenes. We're going to add some search capabilities where you can actually search for sermons or search for video blogs and do some things to cut costs and things like that, but it's still going to look the same and work basically the same. But in order to do these things and to move ourselves in a position to go from 25,000 global listeners and global subscribers to 100,000 hopefully in the next few years, we've got to make some changes. Otherwise I'm going to go broke because we're just not getting enough donations in to pay the bills right now. And I was praying to God, we need something. We need something different because this is not going to work. It's not sustainable at this rate. And God led me to a deal on the internet that we're going to be starting to use, again, implementing into the site. The only catch was it was going to be $800. That's right, $800 US dollars just to implement and just to start. And I found that out on a Wednesday, about a month ago, and I began to pray that Wednesday, God, if you want this to happen, I want you to prove it to me and show me how faithful you are, and if not, we'll just keep doing what we're doing and trust you where we're at. I called one friend of mine, a very trusted and close friend. He's been around the world with me and done missions with me and stuff. And I called him and I said, here's what I'm thinking about Simply Sermons. Here's what I want to do. Here's why I want to do it. It's going to save us money, yada, 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 just what I just told you. So the only catch is it's going to be $800. And I said, but I'm going to pray. And I don't want you to tell anybody. I'm not going to put a video blog out about this. I'm not going to beg people for money, nothing like that. Let's just pray. And I'm just going to ask you to pray with me. The very next day, I'm sitting in my house and I get a phone call from a gentleman. He says, hey, I need to come over. I need to see you. Can I come by? I said, sure, come by the house. He comes by and he says that he has completed a real estate transaction, real estate guy, and he wants to donate some money. And he donated a little bit of money for one of our students who's going to Africa with us. Actually, we're probably there as you're listening to this video blog. He donated some money to the church. And then he said, and I want to donate a little bit of money to Simply Sermons, and he's done this before. And I said, okay, great. And so he wrote the check, and he's writing the check, and he says, well, what's going on? And so I began to tell him what's going on. And as he's doing that, I didn't mention cost. I didn't mention anything. He's finished writing the check. He's already torn them all out. He's holding them in his hand. And he said, well, how much would something like that cost? How much would something like that change cost? I mean, I know it would cost you something. I'm sure it's not free. And I said, well, probably about $800. And he got a big smile on his face because God had already moved in his heart to give some money. And he handed me the check, and he said, look at that check. And he said, you do it, and you get it done. The check was written out for $1,000, guys. $1,000 US dollars, $200 more than we needed. And come to find out, the next day we're going to need that $200 for another change that's going to take place early in the fall as well as part of the other change. God was faithful. Before I even knew I needed the other $200, He provided it. In one day, He provided it. I don't want to give you the wrong impression. I know this blog has gotten long, but it's just a neat story. I'm not saying if you pray, God is going to bring you $1,000. I'm not saying if you pray today, God is going to answer all your prayers. I'm just saying when what you're doing lines up with the will of God, if He wants it to happen, it will happen because He is faithful. It says it all the way through the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament. God is faithful. I don't know what you're going through, but I want you to know of His faithfulness. I don't know if it's an emotional difficulty, a spiritual difficulty, a financial difficulty. I don't know if it's a family difficulty or a marriage difficulty, but you remember and you hold on to this. God is faithful, and He will bless you. Friends, don't ever forget what it says in 1 Thessalonians 5:24, and this is my life verse. This is the verse that's on my college ring from college. 1 Thessalonians 5:24, the one who calls you is faithful, and he will do it. If God's called you to do something, if He's called you to a ministry, He will take care of all your needs and all your problems. I pray that God blesses you today, wherever you are, and I pray that you realize just how faithful He is. He was faithful enough to save you. He was faithful enough to send His Son to die on the cross for you. He was faithful enough to love you while you were His enemy. He's still faithful today to handle whatever it is going on in your life. Pray to God for whatever it is you need. This is Pastor Pete, video blog, simplysermons.com. Tell a friend, tell a family member, tell someone you love, tell your enemies. I don't care. Send them all over there. Got some big things coming up. Hope you'll enjoy them in the future. God bless.